What's going on, everybody? Just trying to figure this out here. Give me a second. All right. So I apologize. I'll try my best not to touch the desk. This is a standing desk, and therefore it likes to wobble a little bit. I'm still working on the live setup, so bear with me. Let me turn the fans off. Okay, so how's everybody doing today? So today I'm going to be discussing what sold on eBay, some personal updates, Atomic Habits, which is a book I'm reading, and some takeaways I got from that. So what items sold on eBay? Well, let's go ahead and pull it up here. I have my trusty iPad, and we're going to pull it up right on here. Let's see what we got. How's everybody doing this morning? Are we doing good? Okay, so we're going to jump over to the selling portion of the iPad. I have sold in total 16 items, so that's pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited about that. Let me know if you can hear me just fine. I am using a Yeti microphone. I love the thing. It sounds great. Let me know if anybody that is on can see it. Let me also mute the desktop so we don't get any of those sounds. And do I don't know if the iPad has a silent thing. No, it doesn't. All right, we'll turn this thing down too so it doesn't make any noise. Okay, so back to the 16 items. All right, so here we go. We're going to dive right in. So this kind of ties into some things I started last year. I actually started the eBay store last year. And if you follow along, I've started doing some videos on how to do certain things on eBay. And it didn't sell at all. Nothing I got. I did a haul at Goodwill and nothing sold. Honestly, I was kind of bummed. And so it kind of, put me in some kind of way. But I realized that one of the trends in my habits is when I start something and I don't build any momentum, I lose interest. And the reality, though, is I really can't go anywhere if I don't dive in and just focus on something. And even if I move on, that's okay, but I need to finish or at least get to a point where the eBay platform can bring me some good money. However that may be. And I know a lot of people, they have more of a longer term goal. I'm sort of using it for seed money, if you will, creating money from nothing, basically. And how I do that is my first haul from Goodwill was, $50, and I was hoping to make some of that back. I did start to actually make some of that money back. So if we just count the first haul, which is the only money that I've actually spent sourcing items. The first two were shoes. So that's $14.99, $12.99, $13 plus, I'd say 15. If we just do 30, that's 28. So $28. So that's basically over half of what I actually spent. So, when those other items do sell, if they don't, regardless, I did technically make half of that eventually back. Now, that's just a lesson on, okay, what's selling. Now, some of these shoes sold the sneakers, which are baseball cleats for youth baseball cleats. Now, these things, I was hoping they would sell sooner, being that people were getting it for summer. But honestly, I didn't know the market. So that's kind of where I was assuming stuff I didn't honestly know about the market. So that's kind of where I went wrong. And the thing is shoes as a whole is just an entire thing, an entire industry. You just need to dive in if you're going to do that. And I've watched plenty of people on YouTube, and I've come to find that they actually do try to focus. And there's people who literally only sell GoPros and they make 7 figures. So the reality here is you start to learn the products, you learn the conditions they're in, what you can sell them for, how you can make more money by adding more accessories or whatever the case. I see that all the time on Amazon. People are selling DSLR kits, but they're adding tons of accessories that are cheap knockoffs. And it's just, I'm sorry for the beginner photographer, videographer, whatever, because they're getting a package full of stuff that it honestly takes time to learn what's good, what's not good, product quality. But back to this. So, these two pairs of shoes sold, but they sold in May. So I started making the store, and it was probably the beginning of this year I made the store. Honestly forgot. I believe I've had the eBay. Now let me actually rephrase. I've had the eBay store. Keep in mind, I'm not paying for a store like option, just that I've had it and I've been, using it since last year. I've sold a couple things, but they were like one-off. Like I wasn't trying to do anything with it. This was the first time this year that I was trying to do something with it. So then we move on to the next item that sold, which was a EVGA GeForce GTX 1080 graphics card. Obviously, those are going to sell pretty well. I made a mistake though. My buddy suggested I put the price at $350. I was going through my process. I created a process in the beginning of the morning. The process just didn't include double checking my buddy's message. I appreciate him helping me look into these things. I kind of screwed up. I lost $50, but hey, lesson learned. And the next item was an Aris Surfboard DOCSIS 3 cable modem for twisted copper. Those of you that know what that is. And then we have a motherboard that sold. It was my old motherboard. It works, but it has some issues, so I sold it for parts. And then a headset from my previous job they gave us for free. I didn't use it anymore. And it's one of those, you get the first one free, you got to pay for the next one kind of deal. The next item was an Orbi wall plug satellite. So I purchased another whole Wi-Fi thing because it had a base station and a satellite, which is basically, for creating mesh networks. I was trying it just because I was trying to figure out, I need a better solution here. My Wi-Fi sucks. And so, when you're in a house 2-story, it's a lot of experimentation to figure out what's going to work best. Now, I did used to work in IT, but unfortunately, I didn't get to spend too much time with the guy that really focused and honed in on wireless. So, I'm friends with the guy, but I just never got to work-wise, invest that time. But anyway, so I was surprised to find that the Orbi wall plug satellite, which was the second part of this, sold for $85. Now, again, this is me not knowing the market. I did buy it for, I think it was like $150, $175 for the whole thing. But it was interesting to find that those things are worth money. So then we go on to a mouse that actually this is the tough thing about eBay. eBay, you get a whole bunch of mess of people. You get people that are trying to scam you, and then you get people who just straight up take your listings off and then don't even pay. So this is what happened. Now I can't vouch. I just know this person has no reviews, no feedback at all. And my buddy's telling me that it's, you need to shy away from people who have zero feedback. That means if they bought something, because if you buy something, the seller will give you feedback. So that feedback is included into you as a seller's entire feedback, right? So if you use your account to buy things, those sellers will give you feedback. I just gave feedback to all the buyers saying, hey, great buyer experience. I just do that blanket. I just give them a beautiful review. If everything was smooth, no issues, they received the item, I've gotten no complaints. Nobody messaged me. That's the thing, man. We're selling stuff on eBay unless we're claiming it's super brand new. I'm also not claiming to be a manufacturer too. So it's there's not so much that can be done on eBay. If something's completely broken or it's claimed to be new, in package, everything's fresh, blah, 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 you bought it and resold it for more, right? In that scenario, if everything's not pristine and clean, then yeah, that's a different scenario. You definitely want to be careful and not do that. But in this scenario, the person just made an offer. I accepted the offer and they never paid. And it's been days. It was going on almost over a week. So I was it's not cool. So I messaged him multiple times. I said, look, I'm going to have to cancel this order. And what I thought was really annoying about eBay is eBay doesn't even have an option in case somebody doesn't pay. There's no option to report that. So if I cancel an order, they're thinking that it's just all scam related options, which sure, but they missed the option of this person accepted or, sent an offer. I accepted the offer. Person didn't pay. There was no option for me to communicate that to eBay. Kind of funny as the fact that it's eBay. They should know, people will make offers, and then sellers accept them, and then they do nothing. So that's unfortunate, but I ended up having to cancel that regardless if it's going to, impact me in any kind of way. But I don't do it often, so it shouldn't be too bad. Next one was the Razer Nari Ultimate, basically a gaming wireless headset. That was pretty cool. Sale there. I was pretty excited about that because I bought it for like $125, like $150. So I mean, I really could have like made more on it, but I didn't. Anything other than the first haul, I didn't go out and source it for the purpose of reselling it on eBay. These are items that I purchased for myself, and I'm just selling because I no longer need it. And we're talking like I went through this entire office, and I grabbed everything I don't use anymore and wouldn't use, and I'm selling it. I mean, everything. This DVI to HDMI adapter, I'm selling that. I don't have a PC anymore because I'm going to part it out. This is a gigabit LAN adapter. I'm selling that. The DJI equipment. Well, it wasn't working anymore, so I broke it down, found out why it was not working. It was actually my fault. The repair that I'd done on it, I used a little too much flux. I didn't clean the flux up. I should have. The result of that is it worked just fine, and then it slowly stopped working over time as the flux started to cause issue with the cable connection. So I took it completely apart, found that I actually can make money on the items that are working, that were working just fine, and just selling it. Now, the board that the connection was on, the cables are too mucky. I'm probably not going to sell that, but the board is still fine. It really just needs to be cleaned up. So I'm probably going to like look and see what the market's at and probably turn around and go, okay, I'll do like 2/3 of that or whatever, and tell them in a description that the board works just fine. It just needs to be cleaned up. So that being said, we move on to this next item that I'm still waiting for payment. I'm actually going to cancel this. This person messaged me back when I told them this is another scenario as the mouse. So this is a Zhiyun Tech Crane Plus stabilizer. I listed it for, I think 200, and somebody offered me like a really low ball amount, and I brought it back up to like 180, and they offered 185. I was like, cool, I'll take it. They messaged me back saying, oh, sorry, I'll pay after work. So I'm actually going to, and then you go out of your way to accept it. So it's frustrating. And then again, that's what you have to deal with as a seller, but it's just frustrating because it literally does nothing. Like you're not it's just, I don't know. It's bad etiquette, I guess. Cause if I was on the opposite end, yes, I get busy. So I was cool with the fact that the person, whatever, they were busy, work, all that, family. I get it. So I was calm and collected about sending just a couple messages after a couple of days. But it's like when you start saying you're going to do something and then you don't, and then after an entire weekend you still don't get back to me, you obviously don't want the item that bad. So that's the way I look at it. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to cancel both of those. But they are claiming to be sold. I'll relist them and they'll still sell. So I'll update you guys on that. Then we go to the Corsair K70 Rapid Fire, basically a mechanical keyboard from Corsair, cherry red. I would have preferred the RGB. My wife was trying to save money, so I really can't blame her. But then again, like I don't have a PC anymore, so it kind of made no sense to have it. So in trying to repair the drone, I actually bought extra parts that I didn't need. In the end, I just bought them just to test, because it was broken. I was trying to test things out, and then I ended up finding what was broken. I just had the extra parts laying around. So this is crazy, and I'm actually looking to get into this business to see if it's going to be profitable, or business model where I buy broken drones and I see what's broken about them. And for example, when drones crash, normally what happens is the gimbal stops working, or there's a broken arm or something of that nature. The body's broken, whatever the case, the picture doesn't look good. But it doesn't necessarily mean that everything's broken, right? It just means that some of the parts that are more susceptible to damage are probably not going to work properly. So the DJI has a board, a front sensor board, also that runs the camera, the front sensors, etc. So that board itself is like $125. That kind of shocked me. excited to find that out because I had 2 of the boards. I was like, sweet, I can make money. So that sold, person paid, all good. And then when I did my Hackintosh build, which was the PC, I made a post on Facebook saying I, was try booting different operating systems, Windows, Ubuntu, and Mac OS, which was true. But there was some hiccups, like I didn't have AirDrop, Bluetooth, all that stuff. So I was working to get an adapter. It was a lot of trouble, more of compatibility. The old ASRock motherboard would have fit this initial adapter that I got. It's like an $8 adapter for a specific Bluetooth wireless Mac Apple-based wireless card that it does AirDrop, Wi-Fi, etc. So that sold for $8. And then the battery. So I had gotten 3 different batteries. One was included with the drone, but I ended up getting 2 extra. That sold for $132.99, so that was cool. The last item that I just packaged up is a camera with the gimbal vibration pad. So it's essentially the gimbal and camera assembly with no screws. And it doesn't have the camera board, just the DJI camera for the Mavic Pro, and then the little black board that goes right above it that it screws into. But that's it. So that's eBay. Okay. I'm really excited about it though, because in total it's made me, let's see if I can find it. There we go. $1,522.79. My goal is to get to 2.5K. And of the items listed, I don't have everything to my left, which obviously I can't show you right now, but basically it's the DJI. Well, I can show you some of the items. DJI controller, headphones. Well, I already showed you some of the items. The legs for the drone, I haven't listed that. Random power supply. That's pretty much it. An Amazon Echo, Samsung VR controller. And then I actually have two PC laptops, or sorry, not PC, but 2 laptops that are Windows, or was Windows. They're really old, but I just parted them. I just took them completely apart. That was actually fun for me. I like doing that kind of stuff. And I found there's a lot of things that people might buy. Like the batteries will probably sell well. There's a lot of things where you can turn DVD drives into USB drives with adapters. So I'm pretty sure those DVD drives will ship or sell because some people still use CDs. And then a lot of the housings, I'm pretty certain that the screens themselves will sell. One of them is an Asus gaming laptop, so I definitely know the graphics card will sell, or at least the main board overall. If they request to, have it by itself. I haven't thought about taking the graphics card out and doing that because you can. But anyways, the point is I parted out the laptops and I'm going to be listing some of the items that I know will sell. I'll list everything else, but I'm pretty certain items will sell more than others. A pair of shoes, actually, that I thought I was going to love wearing. They seemed comfortable when I tried them on in the store. And I was like, I don't know. Let me try to find a cheaper price online. So I did. But they were just slightly, it wasn't like I bought a different size, but I didn't realize it when I tried them on. It's one of those things that you just don't know because they're so brand new. So it's like slightly not fit on the tip of the toe, you know what I mean? That little uncomfortable. And then it, like when you step, your foot slides a little bit. So it wasn't a good shoe. So I'm selling those. Like I said, I'm parting the computer and the monitors as well. I have a tri-monitor stand, triple monitor stand. So that just clamps onto the desk. So I'm selling that. Those 2 obviously too much to ship. So I'm probably going to just sell that locally. Same thing with the tower, but everything else in the tower, like the RAM, I know the RAM's going to sell well. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be making this 2.5K goal. I'm pretty excited about that because I'm going to take the money, I'm going to reinvest it. Part of me is like, pay the self-employment tax, take the money and use it, pay some bills. But at the moment, I'm going to really consider just going broke for a little bit. Obviously, do DoorDash and Instacart. And I'm going to be doing computer repair here soon. I'm also doing video editing and those kind of services. I'm looking to do digital marketing as well. Some videos coming to YouTube soon. I already have them planned out. But that being said, let's move on to some personal updates. So I've already told you that I've, if I hadn't said it already, but I did quit my job. One of the main reasons for that was it wasn't like I was angry. It was more of, you get to a point where you can't offer them anything else because you've gotten to the peak. And I tried to apply to other jobs within the company. And I also applied to other jobs as well. I was on the verge of getting another job. But due to COVID, literally, I was going to go to an interview where I was just going to talk to the team and get hired. But due to COVID, they froze the hiring process. And so that being said, that's unfortunate. Hopefully that opportunity will be available to me later if I need it. But I'm loving this self-employment bug, so I'm going to keep running with it. I love being able to wake up. I got a good morning routine, all that. I'm more happier. And so I left because it got to the point to where I never call out, sick or otherwise. I just go to work. Obviously, because we're working at home, it made no sense to call out, right? But it does when you're in a situation where you literally can't be on the phones due to bowel issues. So I literally called out, and they're like, "Oh, you called out sick." Of course I did. I wasn't feeling well. It's no big deal. It's not a habit. And then the next day, the power goes out. And then my supervisor previously had said, if the power goes out, you can either go into the office, which it was not a good idea, or you could take time off. And so that's what I did. The following Monday, I was feeling fine. I was feeling everything was good, but it was Memorial Day, and my wife's grandfather did serve and did pass away in the military. And so we wanted to kind of just take the day for us, family, and that kind of thing. And so I took a personal day. And they said that I called 3 times like consecutively, but I don't work during the weekend. So logically, it didn't make sense to me. In addition, I don't make the habits of doing that. But they were like super, super strict, and it just was becoming not to be a good fit. As a human being, we shouldn't have to. If you're a person who does great work and you do your job and you do it well and you don't call off often at all, really. If anything, maybe just to go take care of a quick errand or whatever. But I don't know. These call center jobs are going to be gone in a couple of years. They're going to be automated. I'll be excited because the market's going to shift, and there's going to be some situations where there's going to be a lot of people out of work. But I feel like just like the phone operators back in the day, when that system got automated, I mean, the market shifted and people found work elsewhere. But that being said, I'm glad I made this shift. It's allowed for me to take the time to, if I find a really great idea, to try to build a system of processes behind it and then market it. So when I was previously self-employed, or I thought I was, I made the mistake of not properly building a system. That was the issue. I did video company called Iron Digital Media, and a lot of it was vanity. If I'm being honest, I did it for vanity. I didn't intend to. It was just something where you wanted to be a part of a community, and it is what it is. So to wrap that part up, this time I believe is different. Why? Because I'm obviously going hard with eBay, and I'm also trying. As a matter of fact, I'll just show you. So right there. It's completely backwards, but you can see that says $1,522.79. And so I'm doing it different because I know that the wife and I what we need, and I will, for example, I only really need to bring in really about $1,000 a month. We don't have to pay for this house. We're on base housing, so that's nice. But that's another reason why I want to take the opportunity, because we don't have too many heavy burdens. I want to focus on trying to build some processes that can make residual income and experiment with that. And so with DoorDash and Instacart, like that's going to take care of the bills. It's going to be fine. It's not going to mean we're going to be able to go on some major trips, but it's going to take care of that. Now, if we decide we want to go on a trip, then we're going to save up that money. I'm going to go hard with Instacart and, DoorDash, and that'll be that. That's my goal right now, in addition to computer repair and all those things. So those are the personal updates, and I don't know. I'm super excited, mainly because I know it's possible. I have a lot of personal barriers to break through. One of them was actually listing on eBay. eBay, it's a great platform, and you can make good money. The fears that I had wasn't necessarily like listing and all that stuff. It was like the distractions can cause a difficulty and not knowing the process. And so fearing the unknown process is really what it was. But now that I've gotten an iPad, literally, and all Apple products, like I switched everything. This is why I'm selling everything. So it seems like, oh, Wesley, you're just going, you're doing the debt journey and you're just buying more stuff. Like that's not paying off your bills. Well, when you become self-employed, certain things become business expenses. I'm also doing a lot of things that are going to help my overall journey of debt, in addition to my goals. I want to make money from YouTube. I want to make money from other sources. So to do that, I'm going to review all the Apple products I have. I'm a programmer as well, making an app called Keep. It's on Android and iOS. You can actually find it on Android, not the Apple Store just yet. It's still in the alpha testing phase. That being said, that perspective of a programmer gives me the ability to really hone in and focus on like what the issues are with these products. So there's a lot of people doing tech. And I think the difference that somebody who does programming or is a programmer, you see things that people will never notice. Like maybe they know of it, but they're not going to make that a part of their review. And I think that's a hindrance on those really trying to understand if a product is a good idea or not. The reason why I say that is because the things that I found about the iPad, about the MacBook, about the Magic Mouse or Magic Touch, I forget the name of it, but the trackpad, not the mouse that you can move around, but just the trackpad. That in combination with the Magic Keyboard, the long one, the space gray one, I found that it's a little frustrating because with the number pad, which honestly I don't use that much, it's there, I can use it, and that's great when I do. But I found myself like adjusting it a lot and like trying to find a comfortable spot with everything, and now I've gotten the mouse just to test that out. And I might be doing a review on everything. So I'm hoping that will get me 1,000 subscribers and the ability to move forward with this perspective of critiquing tech from a programmer's perspective. I'm hoping that'll be beneficial. And in addition to doing some other videos and just seeing what works. And once I find out what works, I'm going to focus on those things and move forward from there. So with that, let's move on to the rest of this live stream. So I've already talked about the items that sold on eBay. I've already talked about quit my job, talked about the self-employment stuff. Let's move on to the book, and we're going to wrap up the stream. So those of you that watch this later, thank you very much for watching. So I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. It's a great book. And I've actually done some live streams on Facebook on my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Wesley Franks if you would like to follow me there. And this book is just teaching me a lot. I feel like it's a great book to read right after Cash Quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki. First book I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The next one was Cash Quadrant. He talks about, not just the psychological perspectives and beliefs and things that stop people from, making money, but he also talks about, assets and liabilities and how to do that, all that stuff. In the end of the book in Cash Quadrant, he really talks about like the baby steps, taking baby steps. Like, please take baby steps to what you're doing. Don't try to focus too much on certain things. And it was actually really a good book. You should check them out. Moving on to Atomic Habits, though, really kind of dives into, just a second. It really dives into the minute details of habit creation. What are habits? How do you create them? Like, it expanded my mind to understand I have a lot to work on for me. And right now, I just read an entire chapter. It's the third chapter. And he talks about saying things and pointing them out. So, for example, I put earlier today in my cargo pants on the right, I put in my glass cleaning cloth. And what I did was when I went to go put it in there, I was like, okay, I have my glass cleaning cloth, and it's going in my right cargo pocket here. Now, obviously, nobody's going to like point at stuff, But the concept is really this: if you pay attention to if you've ever been to Japan, what the example he uses in that chapter is the way the Japanese conductors conduct. They literally point and say what they're doing, and what that does is it helps them to make less mistakes. The New York subway system did the exact same thing, but instead of pointing and saying, I think they just did pointing. It was either just pointing or just saying. And so it's either way. But the point is, it helped increase effectiveness and decreased accidents. So that's the most important part, to decrease the mistakes made and increase effectiveness and safety, stuff like that. So that's an example. But in a day-to-day thing, somebody that's like walking out the door, they say, okay, I got my keys, and you hold up your keys. I got my wallet, and you hold up your wallet. I usually need my knife for certain things. So, I got my knife. It's also for protection too. So, I got that. Or if you're open carry or, firearm person, or you got your firearm on your hip, is it, tucked away, concealed or whatever? Do you got you got your shoes on, whatever you want to say when you're walking out the door, you say it, you visualize it, you show it. And it helps you not forget. It helps you create that process. And so that was the biggest takeaway that I've taken from that. I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I'm forgetting things. So one thing that I have done that I can contribute to this example is using the app called Todoist. It's not an ad. It's just like, beautiful app, obviously. So the app is amazing. I pay for the $4 a month thing, and it's perfect. One of the reasons why I prefer the Todoist app over the Things 3 app, those are the two similar apps, is because Todoist allows for you to do multiple subtasks. That is helpful for me. It allows for me to go in and do certain things and write certain things under certain tasks. So for this live stream, I have the live stream, but I have subtasks, basically things that I talked about. So, I'm checking them off as I talk about them, which is super awesome, because it's like a little ding in my mind that goes, cool, I talked about that. So now I'm building a process to do better videos. So the other thing with that is I'm thinking of something, and then I'm saying it, and then I'm pulling out my phone, whatever I'm on, whatever platform, because the app is cool. You pay monthly for it, and you get it on the phone, the tablet, and the MacBook. So I pull out whatever I'm using, and I type it up in my inbox, and then I organize my inbox every morning, and I put it where it needs to be, because I have different projects, and it's super helpful. I mean, it's just crazy. It's an amazing process that I figured out. The other thing about the book is reading in general. So reading was one of I have a distraction journal. It's right over here, and I actually need to write a rule inside of it. But I got this because it has a thing to hold your pen, and it's grid. It's a grid notebook, and I feel like that's better for me. It helps me learn how to write a little bit more legibly. So I wrote a ton of rules in here. I just anything I can think of, anything that I want to get better at, or anything I wanted to make a habit, I wrote it down. And I may not keep all of them, but I really wanted to focus on the morning routine. So things that have started to become constant. I don't wake up an alarm anymore. I stayed up till like 12:31, and I still woke up at like 7:10, 7:15. I was late. Normally I'm waking up at 7 or 6:30. So I get up, I go for a walk. I go for a pretty good walk, like not just around the block. Like I go for a good walk, and I go to a lake that's nearby the houses, and I just soak it in, listening to music. I don't care for too many. I seldomly listen to music that has lyrics, but when I do, it's a friend of mine who's a musician, Trevor Lee, or I don't know. That's pretty much it. Like I don't care too much about music that has lyrics. Not much. Like Gary Clark is a great artist. I might listen to his stuff, but it just depends, because I don't know. Like music, people saying things to you is encourages certain things. Anyways, and I also don't care for music that like has like one or two sentences and they're repeating that the whole song. It's really dumb. So that being said, sorry, I was getting a call. The last thing is the pages. So I used to only read like maybe a page or two. Today I kind of broke that habit, and now I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to sit down and really read, I think I'm going to go ahead and just dive in, focus, give my all to right now, and read a whole chapter. So I did, and that's pretty exciting. That's pretty much it. And so focus on your tasks and increase efficiency by pointing them out. We already talked about that. Kind of jumbled them around, but that's it. So that's it for this live today, everybody. I know it's a little long. I think I want to do them more often. I want to get better at doing lives. So I think I'm going to do that in conjunction with the videos that I want to do. So this is my studio / office. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Those that have, and if you're watching later, thank you so much. This channel, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. If you watched any part of this video, I know it's 35 minutes long, so you may or may not, but if you're just putting this in the background, I thank you. So yeah, do me a favor, like it, comment your thoughts. Like, what do you think about the Atomic Habits book? Would you get it? What do you think about any of the personal updates? Do you have any suggestions for a better way that I can create a better system of processes or whatever? Any of those suggestions, they're welcome down below. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you loved it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.